Hi, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate your presence. So, before we get into all of this, I just want to say that you're either here because you already watched the introduction video, so you know what this is going to be all about for the most part, or you haven't watched it yet, and I do advise you to watch that intro video because it will give you some details on what is going to be happening here. This is a free series, and again, I appreciate you being here and co-creating this with us as we build a community. I did open up a Patreon page, so make sure you check that out at patreon.com /lightbody. So my page name is Light Body, and that's LIGHT body. Okay, so there's different tiers there you can join for free to help grow the community. Or if you want some of the stuff that we put on there, the videos here that you can actually download to your own device and listen to them on your private time or whatever, or they'll be streaming on YouTube, so they're free there. And again, if you want to help support what I'm doing here, then you're welcome to do so. I sure do appreciate that. And you just go on to Patreon, and all that will be on there, and the different tiers and stuff like that. So today, for this session, we'll be focusing on relaxing into the physical, mental, and emotional bodies, okay? And you'll have an experience on noticing your light body, your electrical or vibrational bodies. And if this space is new to you, that's okay, because, as you're being guided, and I will do that, that's what I will be doing, is guiding you as we move into the next phase of this. That it's a very relaxing space. It's a heart-centered space. It's a place where you can relax out of the chaos that you may feel that's happening in the world. But we change what's going on within ourselves. The outside world can't help but to change, because that's the whole premise of as within, so without. As above, so below. As above, as we're co-creating with the higher frequencies, with our souls, with those who've come before, our helping friends, the light frequencies that aren't in form. They're always assisting us and always have. As the human and the design of us, we have a brain, and it doesn't be quiet. It's always going. But there's a way that you can notice this what's been going on, and then through the noticing, it changes how your emotions are and how you hold yourself within your own skin, and to be at home again in your temple, to be at home within your own confine. And that's what it's really all about. So, all are welcome. If you have a practice, if you're advanced in this, you're always welcome. Anybody that's coming in here, you're drawn to come in here, and we're going to play and co-create together. Okay, so what I would like you to do is prep. So have a space that's quiet for the most part, if you can, and there's no much distractions, and get yourself some water next to you, a cup of water, and maybe some tissues or a towel, whatever you want to be comfortable with. Whatever your comfort is, you can bring into the space to make you comfortable. You can either be laying down or sitting up. That's up to you, whatever you feel is appropriate. Okay, just make yourself relaxed and at ease. That's what this whole space is about, is to bring presence into your whole entire being. And we're going to start out with focusing on the fundamentals of the breath, being present, and focusing on our inner joy, that space, making more space within the body, so that we can have an upliftment, so to invite the higher frequencies in to be more spacious, to relax into a space and be more comfortable in your skin. Essentially, that's what this is all about. Okay, so without going any further into this, I think that's about all that I want to say here. Just relax into your space as much as you can. I'm going to go off the screen here, and then I'm going to be streaming something, just a background. It's a fun thing I just played around with as I'm producing all of this and also presenting it too. So playing around with the technology. But it will just be a streaming image, running image. And you can watch the screen, but most likely you'll probably be relaxed into your space with your eyes closed. I do recommend having your eyes closed because it would probably be better for you to concentrate, but that's up to you. You can do however you want to do. We'll even play around with it too, where we might be directed to open the eyes for a little bit and within the exercises that we're doing. So, okay, so yeah, let's get into this. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so now that you have your space the way you'd like it for you to step into this a bit further, perhaps you're laying down, perhaps you're sitting up, but right now what we're going to do is we're going to take a good deep breath and relax more into your space. Notice the breath flowing in through the out into the in breath and then out through the out breath. Notice how it flows into your body and out of your body. Okay, we are letting go of the day, letting go of any things that you feel like you need to do, places you need to go, or situations you need to feel like you need to fix, or thoughts or feelings and emotions that might be rising up. We're going to sink deeper into this space as we relax. Okay, perhaps you already do have your eyes closed. Maybe you have a cover on them to make it more dark. So you're really just going deep into your space. If you want to leave your eyes open, you can. That's fine. But for this journey, it's good to have your eyes closed so that you have less distractions, even from the senses of the sight, outer sight, and the outer hearing. Because we are going to be having that inner sight and the inner hearing waking up. Okay, so keep breathing. Notice yourself. Relax in your space. Notice your body. There might be all sorts of things coming up at this time. Thoughts are never ending. And that's okay. As you're breathing in the light energies, and when you breathe out, you're breathing out all that junky cosmic stuff and becoming softer within your skin. So just do the best you can with this, Perhaps use this session as a practice space for you. Okay, so as you're breathing, what we want you to do is notice your feet. Start at the bottom of your body. And then as you're breathing in, you're just breathing in that good light. And it's making your way through your body, up through your feet. You're just doing a scan up through your ankles, back and front, and up through your knees, wherever you are in this. As soon as we started mentioning it, perhaps you guys, some of you have already gone past that and you're up at the top of your head. And that's okay. I'm just acting as the guide. This is your show. This is your experience. So you just move your way up your legs and through your torso, up through the midsection of your body, through your stomach, the back too. As you're breathing in a nice flowing breath. And at this point, you may be noticing that your breathing is slowing down. Up through your chest, the back and the front, and through your throat area and around. You can even swallow there too if you want to. Play around with this. And then work your way through your skull, your third eye, back and front, all the way up through the top of your head. And even bring the awareness up to the crown, about 3 feet, maybe 2-3 feet above. And then bring your consciousness down. Okay, so you can play around, again, however you feel comfortable, fast or slow that you want to do this, but you're feeling it too. You're feeling into this space. So you might be noticing some different sensations in the body. And take note of that. Maybe some stuck energies. Even if it's, stuff that has been chronic, but you may have not been noticing it. Anxieties, doubt, depression, fear, frustration, anger, any of that stuff. It's coming up to simply clear out, and the space will be a good medium for you to be able to do this. So you're just going to keep breathing. You're making your way down your body. We're going to do this a couple times. Okay, we're just going to go up again, maybe 3 times. Okay, so starting at the feet, all the way up to the crown and above, and then all the way back down the feet again, and do that 3 times as we're breathing and noticing. Those of you who've already done and you're finished with the scan, simply just keep breathing and relaxing into your space and noticing yourself. Keep the breath moving and assisting to really relax your muscles, relax into this space as best to your ability. It's always to the best of your ability for what's comfortable for you. Okay. You want to take a good deep breath into your heart space. Know that you are loved. Notice that you are safe, that you're protected all the time, always guided. Notice any presences of goodwill, of high vibrations that are coming up right now. You could feel it perhaps in the body, in your sensations within the body, wherever it is, in different parts of the body, maybe 1 or 2 places. And then with your eyes closed still, take that real deep and upper look to your third eye. It's also known as the gaze of the guru. You're just going to look right up to that third eye, and it's going to relax you more into your space. What tends to happen is that when the mind is always turned on, and it can be loud, especially we're in that beta wave, the thinking, the daytime wave, your work wave, the wave that you are on when, your daily, during your day, on your daily doings, whatever it is, could be work or dealing with whatever it is you do out there in the world. The mind tends to get very chattery. And so you might not be so aware of what's happening in your physical body, and then there's the subtle bodies. And this is where we're going to go deeper. Once the physical body gets relaxed and the mind slows down, then you're able to see, feel, taste, touch, hear, your sixth sense, all the five senses, and your sixth sense starts kicking in. You start noticing the subtleties. So you're doing really good. Keep breathing. So at this point, you should be feeling pretty relaxed for the most part. Okay, it's so important that we take care of ourselves. Your soul, your higher self, you, really you, all of who you are, at the source of your being, loves you so much. And it's so important to take care of that body, because the body is the representation of the divine. Material world, this physical world, is a representation of what is taking place in the ethereal and the non-physical. There's really no difference. It's just that we've divided it for so long. As a whole of humanity, we've been walking in a slumber. It's also called a soul sleep, sleep to that eternal, divine, loving, radiant being who you really are. And no one can take better care of you than you. And once you do that, you can be there for others. Perhaps you're in this space for reasons which, there's three big reasons for people as you continue to breathe here. It could be your health, relationships, your financial security, your job. Maybe all three. Maybe a little bit of each. And when we're walking merely alone with just ourselves and relying on our thoughts and our brain, it can only bring us so far. And to be connected to more of an access to the infinite intelligence that's always available, then we immediately have the solutions and the answers to every endeavor in which we do within this existence. And it starts with us. It starts with just taking it easy on the self and understanding your emotions are charged. They are charged by the thoughts that you feed on. And you can really move into a mental disruption. It's a common affliction among humans. And so you are a superstar coming into the space and doing this at this most auspicious time. It's also the most turbulent time, but it's an opportunity, and that's why you came here at this time in the physical body, as you're continuing to breathe here. Your presence is so important right now. To be here now. To be available for yourself. To notice yourself. To step out of the I'm not okay, defending, having to defend something mode, protecting yourself somehow against the outside, out there, other people, other circumstances, situations, to easing up and trusting that there is a larger part of you, still you. It's noticing this. It's noticing that light within as you continue to breathe. So at this point, you may have been noticing some things coming up. Maybe you've gone off somewhere else within yourself. Like when we daydream, right? You're away in some other place within your confine, and then you're just noticing that you trailed off. It could happen too. To notice that you are a big deal, that you are the very one that you've been waiting for. Because there's nobody really truly that's going to love us like we can love ourselves. And when we do that, the outside has to present itself. It has to present that situation to match its law. And so when you're connected here with your Christed consciousness, with your Buddha consciousness, however you perceive this to be, there's all sorts of words we have been given as our fellow brothers and sisters, co-creators have been, giving to us over the ages. They've been doing it for a very long time, maybe decades. Set the stage for us to have these words so we can communicate really what is going on here. Is humanity waking up to who you are and to walk that into your everyday life. So as you're breathing here and getting more adjusted, you might be noticing sensations too that you didn't notice at first when we first came into the space. It might be a tingling or a lightness of some kind. And that's okay, because your awareness is now adjusting to your wider sight. Notice your stomach area, if you have any tightness there, or if you're relaxed there. Notice the different places that might be coming up. It's presenting you something. As you're continuing to come back to the breath, breathing in all that juicy goodness of clear air, and then you're breathing out. And as you do, you're relaxing more and more into this space. So right now, if you can, put a smile on your face. So all those muscles that are in the face, let's lift it up a little bit. If you can, put a smile on your face and just notice how you're feeling now. There's a happy time that you can think of when you were just feeling so good. Wherever you were, enjoying the day, enjoying a smile on someone else's face, enjoying a good meal, enjoying watching the sky, a beautiful sunset, a beautiful sunrise, a feeling of when you were really happy. Things were going really well. Perhaps they are now. Bring that into the space. Perhaps some of you have, maybe gone back to a moment when you were younger, when you were a child. You just noticed how happy you were. It's still happening. Everything's happening now. You're born now, live now, and leave the body now. And do it again. And have your different experiences over and over. For your expansion, notice what comes up. Notice your stomach. Go back to your stomach again. Even take 3 good deep breaths into your stomach area. What I want you to do is put a dot, a light dot. It could be a white light dot right there on top of your stomach. And as you breathe on your breath of choice for this, breathe that dot in on your breath of choosing, and it's going to go through your stomach and it's going to expand. And just watch it expand as you're breathing. It's going to go back and front all through that area. Put another dot on your throat, right there in your throat area. And again, as your breath of choice, just breathe that in and allow that dot to go through the throat all the way in, back and front. You can even move your neck around if you want to, or swallow. As you're noticing your stomach, and that's still that dot, that light still expanding there. Put another dot in your heart space and do the same thing. Notice how the light connects with your throat. Notice any textures, colors, shapes, anything that you're noticing here. Perhaps something's coming out, being pushed out as the light is coming in to fill it up. Then put your dot right on your third eye. Same thing, have it come down and through your skull and then shoot up through the crown. A few feet above. And you're going to notice that there's a circling around, because the lower chakras, your root chakra, your area there with your legs, your toes, all of that, all the way up through your torso, your sacral chakra, that'll all be starting to light up from the crown. It's like a circle back around, through and up the legs and through the whole entire body. Notice how you're feeling at this point. Notice if there's any emotions that perhaps when you came into this space that you're not thinking about so much anymore. It's not so much you're over there, or maybe not there at all. Something may have left. Something's leaving. You take your time with this. You're not getting anywhere. You're not going anywhere with this. You don't have to there's no pressure to have to do anything here. It's an allowing of your awareness, and through your awareness, for things to continue to come through, which is always there, but to connect to your physical body. Notice how you're lit up. Notice that. You know, there's a saying, the Buddha said, be a light unto yourself, and you glow. When you walk into a room and you're just feeling really good and you're flying high, people notice that you do glow. Maybe you've never had that said to you before. Notice the changes. We are creatures of habit, so we tend to hold on to old patterns and behaviors. And some of us even have a fear around changing, because then other people won't understand us, or maybe they'll fall away. Our friends, our family, we can't have that. You go into fear about it, or you feel like you'll be isolated. And see, with this is that what's happening here, and even though that's, there's a lot of truth there, definitely, but sometimes it's just good to have that clearing so that you can really be centered and at home within your own temple, within your own skin. Not for others, not for social status, not to prove anything, but to simply be comfortable and okay. I mean, you cannot not be okay. It's totally impossible. But what the mind does is it creates a movie that's playing over and over again. And what we're doing here is that we are rewriting the movie, stopping the play, stopping the same old reaction mode of, how we go at certain things, or how we thought about ourselves and other people and circumstances and life in general. And we hold on to so many beliefs. The beliefs are there to show us where our attention's going. As you're continuing to breathe here, you're doing really good. So we're almost about halfway through this. And though we are working out of, the constricted mode of time and space, it's still carrying on. So we do have our dimensional space here, but we're still working within the time and space, and we will be bridging. So keep breathing. Some of you take a good breath into that heart space. More freedom, more space within the body. So our minds are changing. Mind has been creating so much of what our world had been. So many constrictions. The brain is a wonderful thing. It really is beautiful. And now we have the opportunity to use more of our mind. It's not confined within the skull. The cells aren't confined to the body. They come from all over creation. So keep noticing yourself here. You might be noticing other circuitry, should I say, noticing more of within your sight sense within, noticing how your body's lit up, I always like to use the metaphor of the light bright game. Not sure if you're familiar with that, but you could put pegs in the board and it was electrical and you could light up, and make a picture within this board and with all different colors of the pegs. Sometimes you can see that with the body circuitry. If you're not such a visual person, that's okay. You might be, your genius, your strength may be somewhere out coming through a different sense. It might be your feeling sense, your sensational sensations of the bodies. You have the emotional, you have the mental body, the etheric body, you have many different bodies around you. And so, again, the mind had been, on a loop, like a broken record. And this is allowing you to step outside of that. See, there's no noise in the world. The noise comes from our heads, and then it matches, and it happens on the out. So whatever's happening within, it's happening without. And when you stop the noise, then, and you haven't know your alternative, you know of a different place as you're breathing here. Continue to breathe and relaxing. You know your space. Then other situations will gravitate to you. It seems as though there is one world and we're all playing out in it. But what it is that we're all individual worlds playing together here. You have billions of different realities happening, and you're one of them. So you change your thoughts. When you change your thoughts, you change your world. You stop the broken record and the loops of the same old thought trains where you brought you down and then would charge emotions that was not creating something that you liked perhaps. Here, you are the master creator. You always were, but may have not been aware of this. So as we continue to breathe, and we're focusing now on our inner sight, you might want to take that other gaze up to your third eye with your eyes closed. So here in the present moment, you are able to access what is considered the multiverse, other dimensions. And we play out in what's called the third dimension. Dimensions are containers. And within a container, you can do certain things. There's different shapes, like a circle, square, triangle. And you can play differently within those shapes. The third dimension is very rigid. It's very limited. This way, that way, my way or no way. Very argumentative, controversial, duality. And we are now moving out of that duality. We have a choice. We have another option as this new light wave comes. And it's here. It's not we're waiting for it. It's coming through as you're allowing it to. And that's why you're here in this space. And usually that's what happens when you just get so sick and tired of arguing for limitations, and it hurts so much within the mental, emotional, and physical body. It becomes so obvious that you find alternatives, and that's why they call it alternative medicine. That's why they call it holistic, become whole. There's got to be more than this. And so that's what's happening now to humanity, to you. It's happening through you. Your opportunity for this expansion, to be able to be and walk in harmony in a new way. Thank you for being here. Thank you for walking this path with me. Thank you for walking this path and expanding this beautiful place that we created a long time together. And now, merely just cleaning out spaces. It really is a cleanup. It's sometimes you just need to clean out a room or clean out some drawers. Get rid of some of the bags that you don't want to carry with you anymore. You know, if you've ever gone through the moving process, it seems like everybody says that's an endless process. It always seems to be for that one day, those few hours you need to move. Seems like it just goes on and on and on, all the stuff that we carry. Now that's a metaphor for the baggage, the emotional baggage, the mental baggage that we take on that charges those emotions. And then we're just carrying stuff that doesn't play in the present moment. So welcome to a fourth dimensional space, which you are very present and you are very much aware of your mental, emotional, physical, etheric body right now in this space. Some of you might find yourself falling asleep, and that's okay, because you'll easily just need that and take that with you into that other space where we go every night. It's the same place we go when we leave the physical body. This is the same space. That's why it's easy to go into the sleep mode when you're listening here. So keep breathing, those of you who are still with me. And that's okay if you have, because you need to go into that space within yourself to merely just release. Okay, if you need to maybe get up and go to the bathroom at some point, get a drink of water, stretch out a little bit, move your body around, feel free in this space. So you might want to put this recording on pause and then do that if you need to do that. If not, we're going to continue on here for a little bit longer. So you're choosing you by coming into this space. Perhaps you had other things that you wanted to do today. Or maybe you're listening to this before you go to sleep. Or fitting it in just so. Maybe you just came in here because you knew and felt it was the right thing to do. So you're listening to that hunch. You're listening to your intuition. You're listening to that small voice they call, but the small voice is getting larger. It's getting bigger. And at some point, if it hasn't happened already, that's going to take place of your small voice. It's going to be very loud. The way that you move from when you get up in the morning to when you go to sleep at night, every which way in between. Being guided. Your guidance takes precedence over everything that you listened to before. Other people, your mother, the church, the community, because that's what we did in it before. We had to serve others first before we served ourselves. Our family, the community, the church, generally. And once everything else, all that was satisfied, then whatever's left at the end of the day or whenever was for us, for you. But then, that got thin. And that's where people can wear themselves out, and that's where things can come up and catch up. And it falls into the body as discomfort, and what science calls a dis-ease. You're just merely not at ease, and it wasn't taken care of because you gave your time and yourself, your energy, to others. Now, breathe. We're not saying that that's wrong. There's nothing wrong or right here. There's a balance between the giving and the receiving. So we're rewriting the movie. We're rewriting the script. We have a choice. And that's why you're here. It has everything to do with you. As we move along with other people and then we're out of balance, it throws everything outside of ourselves, out of balance. And it's easy to blame the other person for their behavior. But if you notice that when you turn inward and you're aware of where you're giving your attention, to choosing a better thought, to getting off the subject of something that doesn't make you feel good when you think about it, to choosing to lean towards that happiness, you're offering yourself an opportunity to have this new wave of light that's here to penetrate through. And boy, is it a trusting process. That's what that's faith. That taking that leap. And then once you break through those different layers, then it becomes a knowing, and you move differently. You move through divine will. And instead of moving off of your free will, like doing what you always wanted to do in the slumber and the soul slumber. You know, the space is not going to be for everybody. You still have a large quantity of humans, of humanity, that continues to stay asleep. The world is moving in the most harmonious way. And yes, that could be argued, for sure. You could argue that. Well, what about that place over there with the war taking place over there? What about, the wars happening in the family house, in the households? What about that with the politicians over there? And what about this and that and the weather and everything changing? What about this? As we continue to breathe, the space isn't for everybody, because until the human, the individual, like what you're doing here, is willing to stop and observe, check in with the heart space, and then choose a course of action. Noticing that when you're doing that, you are in your Christed light. You're in your Buddha consciousness. You are in your light space as you're breathing here and being with your body and noticing yourself. That's why it's all about you. And when you do that, you change the world. See, the world doesn't need to be changed because there's plenty of people here to have their experience. They need that. That would be taking away what they need for themselves. This is a big playground here in this container called the third dimension. But here, as you're listening, and you continue to, your presence is immaculate. Your presence is of the utmost, and it's beautiful. The breath is divine. It's divinely guided, and it divinely guides you to the real, this present moment. We can choose. As the old world falls away and you see the whole world, many, many individuals who are still stuck. You shine. You shine with your presence. You shine your light out from within. And that is the best example and the best gift that you can give to others in this world, is being you, yourself, all of who you are, with no fear. Because see, in this space, you are noticing something that you may have not been noticing before. Or perhaps you are experienced in being in these spaces, and this is just a nice, relaxing place for you. We sure do appreciate you being here. There is the most intense and beautiful co-creation act happening. And as you continue to do this, you're going to see and experience things that you never even could, even in your wildest dreams. You would say that old expression, even in your imagination, that you thought that you could experience. And this is what's happening here. You're going to show through example. You're lit up. You're going to bring this into your daily walk after you leave this space. And people are they're going to be curious. They're going to get a little curious about this. As you continue to breathe, we are setting the stage. That's what we're doing here in this space for today, for this session. We're setting the stage, we're setting the space, we're setting the tone. You choosing you. You being available for you. And there's no effort. So perhaps some of you have been journeying. You have been accessing different spaces while the guidance has been being vocalized here. Perhaps you have journeyed, or you are journeying right now still. And this is a good space to just take off in, to go to those places that you go to in your dreams that you may remember or not upon awakening. The places that you go to in daydreaming even. You're going to give yourself more of an opportunity to allow your light body is allowing these frequencies to settle into places and spaces and it's like stepping into new clothes. After a while, they get real, broken in with your own movements. And that resurrection happens. And essentially that's the grand awakening. This is what we're doing here. We're waking up. And it's subtle. It's not a grand fanfare that's being played out there in the world. It's a very quiet, personal shift. But it's powerful. It's big. You are big. So if you can, and make sure that if you need to drink a little bit of water, we're going to be done here in about 10 minutes. If you can. Maybe stretch a little bit. And if you need to do that, that's okay. Stay where you are if you don't need to do anything else. Okay. We want you to pick a place out in nature. You know, it could be anywhere that you feel comfortable. It could be a place that you love to go to, or a place, a childhood place that you felt comfortable, that was, you know, a safe space for you, you felt good in. It could be somewhere out of this world. So once you're there, as you're breathing, take a good deep breath, maybe a couple of them. I want you to sit down, you know, even if it's a cloud that you're floating through the air on, sit down on that cloud, get yourself comfortable. Notice yourself there. Notice it's lighter. You to look around. Notice your environment. And notice, you know, if it's sunny out, perhaps some clouds are out. Maybe it's nighttime. Notice the air. Perhaps some of you might be smelling some aromas that are pleasant. Maybe you're hearing some tones or sounds, or someone speaking to you, or hearing something off in the distance. So if it is dark there, if it is nighttime, we want you to just speed it up until you're watching the sun come up. It's going to come up on the horizon, it's going to come up. So keep breathing. Okay, so for those of you it is sunny, of course, here in this space, you can look at the sun. You can look at the sun. Look on over. And you might find yourself just being enveloped in that light. As soon as you look at the sun, it's just going to go completely light. Keep breathing. Notice the peace and the tranquility. Notice the happy, maybe feelings of joy. Notice your human self in this space too. It's right here. All of your humanness. All the spaces that you may have denied from yourself. Notice it. It's all lighting up. Enlighten happens now. Some of you might come out of this space, you know, and slink right down into the same old thought patterns and emotions and your relationships with yourself and others and the different happenings that are going on in your life. And that's okay, because we know one thing that is very different since you've been here, and you've been doing so good through this whole entire session. We know that one thing that has changed. You can't go back. And to remind yourself to be gentle, being gentle on yourself. caring so much about how you feel that it's okay. In any interaction that you may have with another, it's okay. It's okay. You're okay. Everything's all right. Breathe. You're not going to be willing to tolerate going to those places that didn't make you feel so good. So this is why we're stopping right here in this space right now, the way it is, in this very now moment, and it's focusing on to be gentle with yourself as we move further into these spaces going forward. It's an unraveling. It's a coming out of your skin, out of your shell, because it's safe. It's removing the I'm not okay, I'm vulnerable, I'm nervous, I have anxiety, someone will get me, more arguments, the world is not okay, all of those things. It's a coming out and spreading those wings and taking flight. Okay, so what we want you to do now is to notice this radiant sun, and perhaps you're still in it. Maybe some of you are still sitting or laying on the ground in your space, having a conversation with, an ancestor or spirit guide or a being of light or anybody that's talking to you or having conscious non-verbal discussions perhaps. So that's fine. We want you to notice this radiant sun and have the rays, even if you're in it, you'll notice it because it's going to come from every direction, in and out too. And notice them come through your body and having that lift out any of that stuck remaining cobwebby energies that you may have noticed. Breathe in as you do this. As we come to stepping out of this space for now, notice these rays and you're breathing and feeling lighter. You might feel a sensation of floating. Perhaps some of you are going the other way, where you're going and feeling more grounded into the ground, into the space here, into your cloud, if that's the ground. You're making peace with yourself and others, allowing any of those resentments, any of the guilt that you've been carrying, any of that I'm not okay, this situation has to be different, then I'd feel better, any of that stuff, any of the unconditional or the conditional living is stepping into the unconditional and breathing that, just feeling good here. Just because it's good to be. So, as we come out of the space, I want you to, move your fingers, move your toes. I'm going to leave in the space for now. You can, when you're ready, open your eyes. Remove the cover or pillow or whatever you had on your head. If you didn't have anything, just open your eyes and stretch yourself out. Get a good stretch. You might even want to, take a walk later or move your body around, you're going to feel these energies moving through you. So definitely do some movement, whatever that is for you, running, walking, yoga, just a simple walk somewhere, grounding if you need to do that, right? And move the energies if they need to be moved. Drink plenty of water. Okay. If there's any questions, if there's anything you'd like to share, please do so. All the information's in the description. Thank you. Thank you for your presence today. Many blessings.